Now this is a story all about how Activision ruined WoW. I'd like to tell you a story about how I quit after 14 fucking years of this shit. What is up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? My name is Octane, and this is a video that I haven't wanted to make pretty much ever, but I have to at this point. I feel like I want to share my story. Even if no one ends up fucking watching this video, I feel like I just owe this game after 14 years of playing it. Without a break during that entire time. Well, without a prolonged break. Maybe a couple months here and there due to financial or mental health reasons. But other than that, never really by choice other than like one occasion over those 14 years. And BFA, it just was kind of the last straw for me, and I gave it, you know, a nice solid run of what, it's been like 6 or 7 months since the game's been out, and I think I've just seen as much as I need to see at this point. And you know, it wasn't an easy decision, despite me not enjoying the game anymore, you know, for the most part. And then obviously all the scummy shit with Activision and Blizzard coming out, like that obviously didn't fucking help either, because I was like, well, I don't want to support this company anymore. So it made the decision a little bit easier, but I wouldn't say it made it easy, because obviously I'm 22 years old. I've been playing it for 14 fucking years. It's over half my lifespan. Met my girlfriend, met plenty of friends I still talk to either in old guilds or through my stream, or through YouTube or whatever. Over the years, and you know, I've just tried to like dedicate as much of my life as I possibly have been able to this fucking game, and has fundamentally changed my life. It may not be my career like some people, but it sure fucking feels like it. And it just makes me upset, makes me angry, makes me sad that I have to walk away from the game, because like I want to play WoW. Like, I mean, I know WoW Classic's coming out, but it's not out yet. And obviously, even if it was, like, there were plenty of things I like about modern WoW and want to enjoy that experience, but I fucking can't, because the game's garbage. Like, it's just fucking garbage. And, like, I don't know how you can say, even if you just started playing WoW, like, in Legion, I don't even know how you can say it's better than that. Like, because it's not. Objectively, it's worse in every single way. Maybe a few things here and there that got maybe a little bit better, but other than that, like, I don't understand why people are sitting here defending BFA. Like, again, even if you're new to WoW, it's just not better than any modern expansion. I mean, WoD is the only one I think you could argue, but even in that case, I made a whole video on that. I think it's even fucking worse than WoD. Because at least WoD had no content. It was like, okay, well, it didn't take away my, like, the fundamental systems and everything in place in the game didn't make me just want to die and not play the game. Whereas in BFA, that's the case. Like, I just don't even want to play the game, even though there's content to do. It's just not fun. And even something like leveling or mount collecting shit I've done in the past, it's just like it feels like there's no point to even doing anything anymore. And that's just the fucking, like, I feel abandoned by the company and the game that I love and have grown up with. And it's just fucking sad. Like, I don't want that to be the fucking case. It's just unfortunate that it's gotten to this point. And I feel bad even wanting to play WoW Classic, because it's the same scummy company. It's just a different product, a product that I actually want to play. But I guess at the end of the day, pretty much every company ever is pretty much scummy and only in it for money. So fuck it, you know, beggars can't be choosers at that point. So the biggest reason, things I want to touch on why I quit WoW and why it's fucking garbage is, number one, the tier structure of modern WoW. That has been a thing for quite a while, but I want to touch on it, which is the fact that it's when BOD or when Tomb of Sargeras or whatever comes up, whenever a new raid tier comes out, everything before that in the previous tier immediately becomes 100% irrelevant. And it was more the case in Legion because of gear scaling than in previous expansions. So we'll focus on specifically Legion and BFA in this case, but it's still been a problem to a lesser extent, dating back a little bit further. And the fact that old year right now in the game is as relevant of content to do as a raid from Legion. And that's not a fucking exaggeration. Like, I mean, maybe on Mythic, you could argue some relevancy just because it matches normal gear. But other than that, like, I can get 370 would be heroic old year gear from LFR or a Mythic 0, which is either one is infinitely easier content than heroic old year at this point, and less effort. And then normal, or, well, not normal, I guess, heroic dungeons at the very least offer better gear than normal old year. So why would I ever do that? Unless it's transmog again, but that's what I'm saying. And like a Legion raid or any other expansion raid, it's as relevant for that purpose, which is transmog, and that's essentially it. And when you limit yourself like that, Blizzard has been such an advocate in the past of, well, we don't want to, have our content be like irrelevant, and we want people to see our content, use our content. Like, you pour all these months and months and months and months and hundreds of thousands of dollars into crafting these environments, and they're good. But the problem is that it serves a window of 3 to 4 months, and then it's just irrelevant. Like, Aldir is a good raid. BOD's a good or decent raid. And problem is if somebody misses that window of progression, well, then too bad. You never got to experience this really good, cool raid. It's been a problem for a while with WoW, but I mean, pretty much always to an extent of, in the past, though, it was limited to, from vanilla to BC or BC to Wrath, which is, I don't really know how you would avoid that. And that's fine, I guess. Like, it's content of the past. Like, let it be there. But, like, when somebody by the end of BFA will be able to fucking solo, all of old year by themselves, tank or not. Like, at the end of Legion, I fucking did all of, I think, heroic Emerald Nightmare by myself. Numerous times. And I played a fucking enhancement shaman. I mean, I think I had to equip like Pride As and my healing pant legendaries, but still, it was fucking possible. And there's just no fucking excuse for that. Like, I understand the power gap between beginning and end of expansions has always been like pretty decent, but Legion and BFA in specific is so insane that it's just ridiculous. And plus you add Titan Forging onto that, it's just a whole nother element to it. And that's one thing you could argue for the sake of relevancy of old content is, well, this trinket's really good for me, so I'm going to do Mythic Old Year and hope I get this trinket or this whatever, and hope that it Titan Forges, which is one argument, sure, but that's not really enough that most people are going to fucking do Mythic Old Year every single week. It's just not really going to fucking happen. And if it does, then more the power to you, I guess. But that's the problem versus like old school WoW, where, now if someone's new to the game or just not able to do higher end content, I have to help them do a 2 Shrine of the Storm while I'm doing a 10 Shrine of the Storm. Whereas before it's like, oh, I need to do Kara, and then I need to do like all these other raids to catch up to you guys. And it just made the game feel so much bigger. And when there's all this content that either you as an individual or most of the player base hasn't experienced, it makes the game so much fucking bigger than it actually is. Which is why even if WoW right now has more content than it's ever had in the game, just in terms of a ability to do shit. It doesn't feel like it, because what's the point of getting gear when I'm going to get gear from this Mythic 2 just so I can do a Mythic 10 of the same dungeon, or I'm gearing from Heroic BOD to do Mythic BOD. Like, at a certain point, it just gets fucking stale. I mean, usually raid tiers at the end get kind of stale anyway, and, you know, I mean, it's impossible to avoid with an MMO, sure, but that's the thing that really confuses me, is Blizzard just being so out of touch and being like, oh, we care, and, you know, but they don't fucking care. Because if they did, they'd actually fucking do something. I understand logistically it's not as easy as just add this into the game, forehead, and then just the next day it's going to appear. Like, obviously that's not how fucking game development works, especially with an MMO and a complex world and economy and everything else. But you already have a system in place where you have an Azerite vendor with some arbitrary currency. Why not just apply that same shit to everything in the game, and a separate currency for PvP like Conquest or whatever? Like, is it really that fucking hard? Blizzard recently, for some fucking reason, in Legion, but especially in BFA, is just deathly afraid of people that can farm shit to be able to get too far ahead of the people that don't have as much time. And again, I understand not everyone is a fucking no-life neckbeard. Not everyone, you know, plays WoW for the same reasons, and that's okay. Like, WoW has always been a diverse game, has always had a ton of different kinds of people that play the game for different reasons. I mean, when I was 8 years old playing the game, back when I first started, I obviously didn't fucking raid. I didn't even hit max level until Burning Crusade. Like, but I still found things enjoyable, like running Sunken Temple, or doing a Warsong Gulch, or doing Wailing Caverns, or, you know, like, just things that I found fucking enjoyable. Like, the game still had elements, and it has even more now. Like, that's the thing that pisses me off about everything, is like, you have all these people that want to collect mounts and do pet battles and everything. Like, you have so many more elements than you ever did back then to appeal to such a broad audience, and yet they feel like they need to market everything to all audiences, and that's never going to fucking happen. You can't just have, you know, like, it just blows my mind. Like, Blizzard even proved it themselves that the 1% Naxxramas, whatever the fuck myth, like, doesn't even, like, didn't even exist. So it's like, I understand you want to have, like, all this content that people see. Like, obviously you don't want to develop all this shit that people don't even get to see, but it's not like the game isn't built for it now. Like, LFR doesn't even need to exist because the group finder thing exists. Like, if I don't have a definitive schedule to play WoW, but I want like 2 or 3 hours to just do like a normal or something, or a heroic, like, then I just fucking queue for it. And obviously, like, some people want achievements, or they want like Raider IO or whatever the fuck to do dungeons. And obviously that's a problem in and of itself, but at the end of the day, that might not be as big of a problem if Blizzard didn't cater to making just brain dead content that no one has to think about. And there's no sense of progression or getting any better. Like, again, going back to the idea of, I'm going to do the same raid on a different difficulty and then move on to a higher difficulty. And while Mythic raiding does feel generally different than Heroic, just because the total change in mechanics for most of the fights, that's not really enough. Like, it's still the same shit, it's just different. Slightly. In some cases, drastically on Mythic, but even still. Titan Forging is obviously a fucking problem. I'm not of the stance that I don't think necessarily it should be in the game. I mean, personally, I wouldn't care if it was in the game, but I don't care that much if it's in the game. I just don't want it to, like, I want it to cap out at a certain point. Like, if you're doing normal, it shouldn't go any higher. Like, okay, well, let me look at it like this. So, if you're a Mythic Raider, in BFA, the max Titan Forge, Warforge, whatever you're going to get is 10 item levels. That's like the cap, right? So 415 to 425. Doesn't go any higher than that. That's how it should be for every fucking difficulty. No matter what you're doing, it should never be able to go above 10 item levels higher. Because anything more than that is just too fucking much. If I do LFR and get a 415, did I fucking earn that? No. I mean, did I earn a 380 Warforged from LFR versus a 370? Not really, but it's like, oh, that's kind of nice. Like, you know, like, I think there's some balance. Like, if Blizzard doesn't totally want to get rid of it, but just having that ridiculous shit and then having the excuse of, oh, well, that person's item level is going to be significantly lower than yours, so they might have one or two items that are better, but blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but they shouldn't have fucking anything. That's my point. Like, it's this entitlement of people want to, and you see this with community carries, whether it's on Twitch or whether it's selling carries for dungeons or whatever. Like, these people that just aren't good want to get carried through content that they just shouldn't even do. Like, I understand not everyone has time, again, but when you just build that system of, like, that's me wanting to make $100,000 a year, but not put in any work to get there. Like, if you apply how WoW works to the real life, it just sounds fucking stupid. Like, I mean, people earn bonuses in the real world, which you could look at as like a Warforge occasionally or whatever. Like, after a certain point, you're guaranteed a Warforge. Like, something like that I think would be alright, but like, just pure fucking random. Like, hey, you worked 60 hours this week, but guess what? You made, you know, fucking less money than the guy that worked, you know, 20 hours less because, you know, fuck you. It's just random. Like, that's not fair. Like, that's how WoW fucking works. I know it sounds dumb because it's a game and not real life, but you can bleed over elements. Like, if it's something that doesn't make any sense for real life, like, why would you apply it to like a system in a game? Like, I don't know. So overall, WoW's just fucking garbage. And hopefully, you know, shit gets fixed, because I want to fucking play the game. I really, 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 really do. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't want to see the game fail. I don't want to see the game be bad. I want to fucking play WoW. I want to play modern WoW and classic, but I'll just be playing classic because modern's too bad. But some shit really needs to fucking change, man, because, like, I know people are tired of the negative perception around BFA and WoW right now, but it wouldn't be there if it didn't come from a place of passion. And if you just never speak up and don't say anything, nothing's going to change. So, and again, for the most part, the only language that these companies understand is money. So walking away from the game is probably the best thing you can do if you really want change, is people to just mass unsub. Which, again, I mean, I don't want the game to fail, but if it's not in a position where people feel like it, like, if you personally feel like it's not worth your investment anymore, trust me, I understand the struggle of coming to grips with, I love this game, I don't want to quit it, but at a certain point, like, if you love something, let it go, because I want to remember WoW as the game that I grew up with, and that was a revolutionary game, and I don't want to remember Titan Forging and fucking Azerite neck pieces and war fronts and all this shit. You know, I just don't want that. You know, I want to remember the game that I love and grew up playing, and I'm gonna do that when WoW Classic comes out and enjoy the fuck out of it. And, you know, hopefully game gets better, because if it doesn't, I won't be coming back. I don't plan on coming back. So hopefully this rant made at least a little bit of sense. If not, then sorry, I just wasted 19 minutes of your life. As for the future of this channel, what to expect, I'm still gonna make WoW content, but it's going to be a little bit more like unique, like evolution of WoW type shit, like how it's gotten to like how it was back then, like whether it's map files or like other shit that I can explore. If you're familiar with the channel Haven Games, kind of like that, but not like ripping it off, obviously, because you know that was his thing. More of like a tribute, but in my own way that's unique and fun, hopefully. Um, you know, so things like that I have planned. Other WoW discussions, and then when Classic comes out, obviously, Classic themed shit, and I will stream WoW when Classic comes out again. But until then, probably not. I do stream on Twitch. Currently taking a break from that, but I'll come back when I decide what I want to stream instead of WoW, because I'm not fucking playing WoW anymore. So feel free to follow me on Twitch or Twitter, and I appreciate you guys hanging out, and thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or enjoyed the little intro thing that I made, feel free to share it and like this video. It really helps me out. Make sure to sub. I'm gonna try to come out with content at least every 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. It might take slightly longer some weeks if it's a more advanced video or if I'm lazy or whatever, but content will come. So thank you guys for hanging out and watching the video. Appreciate it, and I'll see y'all next time.